1043's Out of the Box with Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Welcome back. Jonathan Clark in the studio with an artist. He has sold millions of albums. He is a multiple Grammy winner. He is a worldwide star, a songwriter, a producer, an actor, a designer. I could go on, but I won't. His name is Lenny Kravitz. How are you, man?
Good morning. Good morning.
The 2018 version of Lenny. We love it. New album, Raise Vibration, the 11th studio album coming out, and all the tour dates of Lenny. He's on a worldwide tour at lennykravitz.com. So this album is fantastic, first of all. Thank you for making it.
Thank you. I had a great time making it.
I did read after your last tour ended, you actually had writer's block. I'm a DJ. Sometimes a song ends. I don't know what the hell to say.
It actually wasn't a writer's block. It was more conceptual. It was I wasn't sure which direction to go in. So I was writing, I was doing stuff, but it wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
And I just knew that I needed to just chill out for a minute and really trust the creative process. And sometimes part of that process is about being still and being quiet so that you can hear what you're trying to be given.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that little time, I just, I was in the Bahamas and I just closed the studio door. Started living my life, chilled out, got quiet, didn't worry about it. And after maybe a month or so, I woke up in the middle of the night with a song in my head, which is normally how it starts.
Isn't that the best thing in the world?
It's just hearing something without any effort, without trying.
You're a channeler.
Exactly. And I ran to the studio.
Oh, you got up, actually. You didn't write a note or do the iPhone thing?
No, you got to get... Well, I have the phone. I have the iPhone by the bed, so I can hum the melodies. But I went to the studio, started working on it, and I realized this was the beginning of where I was to go in a very natural way. And then once you begin doing that, the floodgates open, and then all of this music came. I dreamt the whole record.
That's fantastic.
And
oh, my God.
That's what's beautiful about it. And that's the real expression to me.
That is the best thing. I mean, I'm an amateur guitar player, musician, but I've actually had that happen to me. And you're like, whoa.
Nice.
You got like this video playing in your head while you're sleeping. And then you just, and if you're good, you get up and you go to the studio and you put it down. And most people probably forget those things, because they go back to sleep or something. But
and it just felt like this is who I am right now at this moment,
I want to get into some of these songs. I heard a few snippets. There is a song, Low. I kind of describe it as smooth R&B, soul, really cool. Not surprising considering some of your musical heroes over the years. And even cooler in this song, there is a point where I hear a voice that may or may not be Michael Jackson. You got to tell me about that, man.
Well, maybe we'll make that a surprise.
Really?
But I think your ears might be telling the truth.
It is a signature kind of sound.
Yeah,
that the world knows.
Yeah, we worked together years ago, and I produced and wrote a song for him that ended up being on the album right after he died.
Oh, okay. What was the name of that song?
Was kind of weird. It's called Another Day. I Can't Make It Another Day. And it was meant to be on the Immaculate album.
Okay.
But at the time when they were putting together that record, they thought it was too rock. And that album was kind of smooth. And so it sat, and he wanted to put it on his next record, but then of course that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then they ended up finding it and putting it on that kind of strange record after he passed. But anyway, we had tracks that we'd worked on together and things, and so
little snippets here and there.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz with us. The new album, Raise Vibration. There is another really cool song that immediately hit me, and I think it's called Johnny Cash. Is that the song?
You heard that?
I heard a little bit of it. I didn't hear the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't download it. Don't worry.
No, I want you to hear the whole thing.
But tell me about that song and sort of the genesis of that song.
That song was another dream, and I remember it being like 5 a.m. when I ran over to the studio, because I can walk to the studio from my shack.
Yeah.
And I was playing these chords, and words just started coming out of my mouth, and I didn't understand why Johnny Cash was coming out of my mouth, because I was Johnny Cash, and then June Carter.
Yeah.
And as I was writing the lyrics, I was like, oh. So basically the song is, I'm writing it to a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying that I want to be held like Johnny Cash when I lost my mother. And it's this really incredible memory. My mother, she had cancer.
Yeah.
And she was dying, and I had to go do a tour of Japan, which I wanted to cancel, but she told me I must go and that she'd be there when I got back. I got back. I was in Japan a month, and she waited for me. She died the next day, but I was living at the house of Rick Rubin.
Right. Shangri-La?
I lived at his house for many, many years up in Hollywood on Miller Drive. And at the time, Johnny Cash and June were staying there as well, because he was recording that record.
Oh, is that when he
the
did
acoustic
Hurt?
record? Yes.
Oh, man.
So we're flatmates, right? And so I got off the plane. I went straight to the hospital, and we were there all day. And then we all said, okay, let's go and shower and eat. We'll come back. So in transit, my mom passed. I get to Rick's house. The phone rings. They give me the news that my mom had passed. So I'm kind of just standing there at the stairway, and down the stairs comes Johnny and June. They said, hey, Lenny, how you doing? What's going on? I said, my mom just died.
Oh.
And mind you, I didn't know them well. We lived in the same house, and we passed each other in the hallways. But the two of them grabbed me and held me and consoled me. And it was the most surreal, beautiful feeling, just by them being human beings.
Right, yeah.
But then on top of it, it was Johnny Cash. And so obviously it's a memory of a time when I really felt the love and the hug of a human being, in that it was very deep.
Yeah.
And so I'm singing to this woman saying, just hold me like Johnny Cash. And it's such an odd lyric. But in the end, when it was finished, I think it's one of the most beautiful songs I've written.
Yeah. Lenny Kravitz is with us. The new album is Raise Vibration. Another song on the album, 5 More Days Till Summer. Now, when I heard this, and I imagined my fantasy vacation of a red convertible driving in the summer along the Riviera, Spain, France, Italy. That's the vibe I got from that song.
But it's funny that you would say that, because that's the vision. That's the actual vision. I met a guy in a bar, an old man in Italy. And this man was working his whole life, working the night shift, never seeing the day, had no wife, had no life, no family other than work. And he was about to take his first vacation, being an old man.
Wow.
Having saved his money. And it's about that. This human being who just has never had a break, and now he's having his break. And it's funny, because I envisioned him driving, and I envisioned the Riviera and all these beautiful places, and him sort of transforming into his younger self.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are the girls singing at the end of that?
Those are local girls in Eleuthera, where I live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a ripping guitar solo on that one. And is there some sitar at the end
There,
as well?
There is. I played sitar at the end, as well.
Oh, man. Yeah. We Can Get It All Together. It's another rocker on the album. What can you tell us?
That's the opener.
That's the opener.
So
okay.
that's sort of the 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 procession, if you will. And that's really just about myself and talking to God and just saying, you know, I want to fulfill my destiny. I want to be who I'm supposed to be, and I need to shed certain things so that I can move forward and be open. And yeah, so I thought that was a really good way to open the record.
Well, you got the Hammond B3 going on that
Yeah,
one too,
and
right?
And it opens with that long note on the didgeridoo and the
yeah, oh, that's what it is. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I want to know,
and the Mini Moog synthesizer. Yeah.
I want to know when you're recording music, the tangible creative payoff is really right there in front of you, right? It's like
that is the success. That is the success. When I'm creating and when I get what it is that is just pure, like this music's coming out of me, and I've done the job of getting it from my head in that dream to the tape.
Right.
And I listen
and then play back. Yeah.
I listen back and I say, that's what it is. That's what it was. There is no greater success. If it sells, if it get hit records, it's wonderful.
Gravy.
It's wonderful. But it's gravy. The success is in the creativity. Absolutely.
And then I guess maybe there's another creative payoff when you perform that song
Yes,
live.
and then people react to it. They're singing it. This is something that you dreamt, you know, in your little cabin on an island, and now this arena full of people are singing it. It's pretty magical.
I want to compare that to, you've obviously been doing a lot of acting, Hunger Games, The Butler, Precious. So the creative payoff when you're acting, is it the one-on-one scene, or is it when you see the final edit of that scene in the studio, in the mix room, or in a theater? I don't even know.
I would say all of it.
Oh, it is.
The first payoff. My first scene when I showed up for Hunger Games was the scene where Jennifer Lawrence and I are discussing her whole thing. We're in this sort of room, the two of us alone, and that was the first scene. And it was really beautiful. The director was working with us. We were rehearsing it, kind of theater style first.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, this is great, you know. And what I really love about making films is collaborating. Because my music is, I'm pretty much in the studio.
It's a different rush,
by myself,
though, right?
or with one person.
Yeah.
So it's my songs. I'm producing it. I'm writing it. I'm playing it. It's kind of self-indulgent.
Yeah.
But that's the way I do it. And all of a sudden you're on a set with a group of people. It's not about you. It's about serving a director's vision. It's about serving the character that's been written. You're working with actors, and so it's a really good relief from being in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having to do everything.
Yeah.
You got any more acting coming up?
Yeah. There's a couple of things coming up, and I'm actually working on a film that will be my own film that will have music involved in it as well. So can't really talk too much about it, but it's in development now, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
You're a designer too, a company called Kravitz Design. I read about this home you just did in L.A. One designer described it as Bohemian rocker meets James Bond.
Okay.
I saw that article somewhere, but I saw the photos. The photos are amazing. So as a designer, what do you think of this studio? Could it use some improvements or what?
It looks like a radio studio.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
We got some vinyl albums on the wall.
I saw the Sly and the Family Stone. I love that.
Yeah.
Got the Clash, got Devo. We're doing all right in here.
I want to ask you about the 2017 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony where you did a tribute to Prince with your band. Tell me about that night. What was that like for you?
That was surreal. He and I were close, and we knew each other a long time. And of course, I looked up to him. He was like a big brother.
Did you ever do anything with him in the studio?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. There's actually things on records that you don't know about because he would call them souvenirs and mementos. So he'd call me in and say, okay, sing background on this song or do this. And we wouldn't credit it. So if you've got really good ears and you hear it, and you go, wait, so there's some things on records that are me singing background. And we actually recorded some material, and there's some stuff that's in the vaults.
Right, yeah.
But and live we played together a lot.
When he first played a guitar solo in front of you, did your like face fall on the floor?
It was amazing. He would come out on "Are You Gonna Go My Way" or "Fly Away." He'd just show up at some of my shows and grab a guitar and come out and play and then take a crazy solo and
melt faces.
The man was beyond. But doing that tribute, I didn't want to do it. I'd seen some of the other tributes, and a lot of people were doing things like the records, and I knew that he would want something different. He would want an interpretation and something that I was feeling to give back to him. And so I just felt like Dove's Cry was a gospel song.
Yeah.
And so I got this 40 some odd piece choir.
I saw, yeah.
And, arranged it in that fashion, and we did part of Dove's Cry, and we did the cross, and I was really happy with it. And I think he would have dug it.
I know you also worked with Bowie too.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been weird for you, like all of us, over the past couple of years, where you see our rock and roll heroes just, for lack of a better term, dropping like flies?
There's only one way out of here, right? So we're all going that way, but a lot of these people are young, and I thought, Bowie was still young.
Yeah.
If he wasn't ill, he could have lived a lot longer. But it's just these people become part of your life. So it's like losing a family member.
Yeah.
Losing a lover. And then, I got to know a lot of my heroes and become friends with them and work with them, and that's a whole other gift, the 12-year-old me, saying, wow, one day you're going to be hanging out and working with these people. I would never have dreamed that.
I want to ask you, I'm not sure, did you ever meet or work with Chris Cornell or Chester Bennington or Scott Weiland or these guys?
Chris opened for me in Europe a few tours ago, his solo material. So I knew him, but then we went on tour together and did a whole tour of Europe. So we became quite friendly, and I live in Paris, as well as the Bahamas, and he was living in Paris with his family.
His wife is French, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And he had a restaurant that I used to go to, so we were very neighborly,
right?
And what an amazing guy, what an amazing contribution to music, what a unique and gifted voice. I was very sad when that happened.
Here's what I want to ask you. Your career, it's like sort of dizzying and historical. And the people I just mentioned, they've had similar career trajectories. How does somebody like you survive the insanity of it wasn't instant stardom, but you were very young. It was. But how does somebody like you survive that? And how do those guys suffer? Is it chemical? Is it? I
can't really say. All I can say about myself is that I was I'm not saying these people didn't have that. I'm talking about me now, but I was very blessed to have very grounding family members. So, I talk about the Bahamas, where my grandfather and my mother were from. Very down to earth island people, all about respect and love and just. I got a lot of love as a child. Even though I left home when I was 15 and I went to find my way and, I was out in the street doing my thing. But I had these grounding, very humble, earthy people that raised me. And so that was very important. I know that made a big difference for me, that's all I can say about myself,
Lenny Kravitz is with us, talking about his new album, Raise Vibration, on tour now. All the tour dates, LennyKravitz.com. How many guitars do you have?
I don't know.
Oh, it's like that.
I got rid of a lot of them lately, which was a very good exercise. At one point, I had like 300 guitars.
Oh, man.
And really good ones.
Because I know Keith Richards has a separate house for his guitars.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Manhattan or something.
I actually gave Keith Richards a really, really good Les Paul.
Really? Vintage, like
years,
58?
I gave him an Al Nico, mint. incredible. We did a tour together, and I got Ronnie a Firebird that he still plays. I see him playing it now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Keith knows that I gave him that guitar. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure, but it's a really good one, and it's worth a lot. But I just sold like 100 and some odd.
Wow.
I got rid of, after a while they sit and it's like you don't see a bunch of them, and it's like I just thought it was a waste.
Right. Yeah.
Some people should be playing these things, and but I have a nice little collection. And I have guitars in the studio that don't leave the studio, and then I have my touring guitars. Yeah.
Exactly. We're with Lenny Kravitz. The new album is Raising Vibration. I want to hit you with some rapid fire questions. You have two options. You can say this one or that one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right.
Are we ready?
I just woke up now, but let me see if I.
Okay. Gibson or Fender?
Wow. Well, Gibson. I'm endorsed by Gibson. I play. I play Gibsons. I got some nice Strats. But I'm a Gibson man.
Okay. Leather or spandex?
Ooh. Well, I'd choose leather over that, but even now I'm going toward the faux leather. Yes.
Okay. Here's one that'll be tough for you. Mick or Keith?
Love them both, but I'm a mixed guy.
Okay. Here's another one. John or Paul?
Wow. You gonna make me do that?
You don't have to.
You gonna make me do that? They're both. I mean, one doesn't really. Well, they both work without each other.
The sum is greater than it.
But together, that's pretty major.
Okay, there are three in this one. We have Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, or Jeff Beck.
I would. Wow. You're like Father, Son, Holy Ghost. They're all really great. I'm a Page guy.
Page guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, he's a producer too, right? Like, I mean, he produced all that stuff.
Yeah, incredible.
Rock or roll?
I'd say rock.
And rhythm or blues?
Rhythm. Yeah, I'll take rhythm.
His name is Lenny Kravitz. His new album is Raise Vibration. It's fantastic. Everybody go out and get it. Lenny, thank you so much.
Oh, it's good to be here, man.
And we'll see you on tour, LennyKravitz.com. Always a pleasure, my friend. And thank you for making all this great music from all the fans over the years.
Thank you so much.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.